Wes came into a webinar today and asked for a pretty unique request. You can see we've got an add record button here on the main dashboard, and it comes over as you might expect, and it's going to add a new record. It lets you fill it out. But there's some functionality. He wanted to be able to right click and add a button that when he's adding the record, when he presses the button, it wants to go do something else, like add a child record or something. But it doesn't have the record ID because the record hasn't been saved yet. So he's asking, well, how can I press a button and know the record ID in the process so I can do something with it? So what we've got is a little bit of code in here, and we'll create a brand new button that goes to this page, which does the work for us. And there's a file in here I called launch. This original HTML code was created by Tyler Pritchford, one of our QuickBase Solutions engineers, consultants here at QuickBase. And here's in essence what happens. We've told it the destination we're going to be adding a record. That's a variable. We've added the app token from the application, so we have permission to be able to do this. So we have two variables, DB and app token. When the page loads, because we're going to put a button to this here on our dashboard. When you press that button, it's going to run this page, and this page sets up all these items here. And this is the first thing that happens when the page gets opened up. It's going to add a record to the QuickBase table. What table? The DB ID variable up above. With what permission? The app token right up here. So once that's added, QuickBase sends back an XML response, and if it's valid, it'll give you the record ID of the records that created. So we digest that here, and we create a new URL that says, I want to take that record ID and put it into this URL string. So you can see it's an edit record URL now, and put in the value here of what that record ID is. So once again, when we launch this page, it adds a record, understands what the record ID is, puts it in, and redirects to this new location. And you can see that the location reference is this new URL, which is this right here. Anyway, so let's go do that. And we'll look at one other challenge here as well. So that page exists. So I'm going to customize this page. And I'm going to add a new button, and that new button is going to go to a page which is the launch URL for launch.html. And I'm going to click on save. Okay, so we are now going to press this button, and we can edit this button actually and call it add new record. But watch what happens when I click it. Click. It creates the record. Look at it, it even has a record ID, but it looks like we're adding the record because we already created the record. Now we're in edit mode, actually allowing us to put Tom Jones in here and all the other variations for ABC. And I'm going to just save this. So what happens here is I'm left now on this page, and I don't want to be left on this page. That's the nature of having gone through that process. So I need to, how do I commandeer it and say, hey, I want you to go back to the dashboard? And we tried a whole bunch of things to do this. But really what we want to do is, and it's created again, and there's a new record, we save it, but we're on the contact record. So we need to have to figure out a way to interrupt the redirect and point it back to the home page. So I'm going to right click and add a field onto this form. And we created this field called redirect after the editing the page. Now notice there's nothing in it. Now, let me right click it and show you what's inside it. What's inside is an invisible image, and we use the event of this invisible image, this is a rich text field, to be displayed. And it is that event that when it is loading, it says, hey, would you do me a favor and launch a JavaScript page to get the page name save.javascript. Would you go get that page whenever this page loads? And we say, oh, okay, so this is an image on load function. Let me cancel out of here, and I'm going to edit, go back to the main page here. What I want to do is go look at what save does. So underneath here is save. Now, every time the page loads, by nature of seeing that image, it loads this page. And what does this page do? This page does one thing. It says, listen to see if we are editing the page. Are we editing the page? If so, I want you to take and override the redirect URL. And I want it to go to a particular place, and it's this, which is the app's ID. Now, you could put in here any URL you want. You put a quotation mark, a regular web URL, and another quotation mark in here, and you should be good to go. And it will go to wherever you want to go. And this one, I'm going to the app's ID, and it's going to be the home page. So let's save this. Remember, it only comes to life on edit record. So let's go back, and now press this button, launch, which takes us over to the record, X, Y, Z. And now I'm going to save this here, click, and it tells us to go back to the dashboard because we've commandeered that redirect. And just for the heck of it, let's go back over to the record here and play with this, because we'll take away the idea that I'm going to go in here. And by the way, we could take the label off and put it off to the side so you don't have to see it, but it does have to be on the page. Let's see. I want to edit this field here. And it's going up to save JavaScript. That isn't where I want it to be. I want to be at the home. I want to go to pages, and I'm going to the save. And instead of going here, I'm going to just cut it out of here. I'm going to just put http://quickbase.com/webinars. And I'll put a little thing. Let's see what it does now for a redirection. So we go back to the main page. We launch this. The benefit this has, by loading, has told it where to go afterwards. So we say test, and I say save, and we've gone to a whole different place, which is kind of a blast. That's a pretty powerful combination of items. So hopefully that was an exciting travel for you. We cover things like this in our webinars Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. East Coast time. You can find them at quickbase.com/webinars.